Andy Price. Andy,
Every month I struggle with the relative difference in this and me, and I'll try and overcome it this month. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Graham and the team, for all of the hard work you do, not only to prepare this budget, but also the work you and your team do for us all through the year. Congratulations also to the Tory party. You won't often hear that. Whose plans for local government we now see coming to full fruition. We see it in the country at large, where failing Tory Northamptonshire County Council has all but bankrupt itself. And we see it locally. Where the elimination of the revenue support grant as a source of funding for local services is part of the long-term aim of the Tory party to reduce the role of local government. For the Tories nationally, local government is little more than a human shield for their failing and vindictive policies towards the poorer and more vulnerable. The increasing reliance of this borough on its own council tax receipts is deliberate. It shifts the burden of taxation from more progressive taxes, such as income, corporation and inheritance taxation, to one of the most aggressive of taxes, council tax.
Absolutely.
Again, this is entirely consistent with the Tories' long-term economic plan: reduce taxation for the rich and increase taxation for the rest of us. Looking at the budget, I was struck by the misery contained in some relatively small numbers. In a budget of about 100 million, there was a paltry and inadequate 31k increase in bus services, which I guess, I'm assuming, is the part of the tender for buses in Woodley and Whitegates. It simply does not do justice to the anguish which residents in my ward and other wards in the area feel at the loss of a loved service. Tory councillors in the ruling group are clearly not exerting sufficient pressure in this area. It was little surprise to read last week that this local authority was the 7th worst local authority in the country in terms of bus miles reduced, or the 7th best, depending on which part of the table you want to look at, with a 22% reduction in bus miles travelled. It's no surprise that the worst local authority in the country is also Tory, and it's your friends in Bracknell. Looking at the budget, I was also reminded of the missing 6 million of the 3 years where there's been no increase in council tax. In those years, we received a council tax grant, one-off commitments to compensate for the loss of revenue in these areas. The problem is, those grants, little more than a bung from central government, have stopped. That means revenue we would be raising now has gone. So we're 6%, or about £6 million a year, behind where that's every year, forever. A massive price to pay for some short-term political advantage. In the midst of all this, residents are incredulous that scarce resources are being found to award yourselves a pay rise. Finally, David's impressive list of assets that we've accumulated over the last year missed out one vital asset. Things can and do change. The biggest asset we've acquired in this last year is a Member of Parliament who actually believes in local government.
Mr. Mayor?